Most men grow up with illusions about women. Illusions fed by movies, culture, and even well-meaning advice. They're told that if you give enough, sacrifice enough, and devote yourself completely, you'll be loved forever. But reality is different and for many men painful. What no one tells you is that respect and attraction are not earned by begging for approval, but by standing strong in who you are. The truth is this: women don't admire weakness. They don't fall in love with men who give up their power, lose their sense of purpose, or abandon their self-respect. They may enjoy comfort or attention, but deep down they are drawn to strength, stability, and leadership. These are qualities money cannot buy and words cannot fake. They must be built inside you. Think about it. How many men spend years chasing love only to be left heartbroken, while others who seem to give less but live with more confidence hold attention and respect? The difference isn't luck. It's understanding human nature. Women, like men, are guided by instincts. They respond not to empty promises, but to the energy of a man who commands respect without demanding it. So let me ask you, if you had learned earlier what truly inspires women's respect, how different would your relationships look today? Share your reflections in the comments and stay with me, because in this video we're going to uncover the hard truths about women that every man needs to hear, but very few are ever told. Most men enter adulthood carrying illusions about women, ideas shaped by media, culture, and even advice from family. They are told that if they just love enough, give enough, or sacrifice enough, a woman will stay loyal and devoted forever. Movies glorify the man who chases endlessly, who bends over backward, who sacrifices everything for romance. But reality is harsher. Those behaviors rarely inspire respect. The illusion lies in believing that women value effort above all else. In truth, women respond not to how much you give, but to who you are while giving. If your love comes with desperation, it signals weakness. If your devotion comes from insecurity, it creates imbalance. What many men never hear is that respect always comes before love. Without respect, love cannot survive. Think about the so-called nice guy syndrome. These men often believe that being endlessly agreeable and self-sacrificing is the key to a woman's heart. But in practice, women lose interest in them quickly. Why? Because women instinctively admire men who maintain strength and boundaries, not those who trade self-respect for affection. Stoic philosophy offers a powerful lens here. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that true worth comes from self-mastery, not from pleasing others. Men who internalize this lesson naturally project calm, authority, and strength. These qualities create attraction because they reflect stability, the very thing women unconsciously look for. Modern psychology backs this up. Studies on attraction show that traits like confidence, independence, and assertiveness are consistently rated higher than simply being nice. Women may appreciate kindness, but without strength behind it, kindness alone is not enough. The illusion men grow up with is dangerous because it leads them to neglect the qualities that actually matter. So let me ask you, do you still carry illusions about what women want? Or have you started to see the difference between cultural myths and reality? Share your reflections in the comments, because letting go of illusions may be the first step toward building relationships that actually last. Many men chase love, thinking it is the ultimate goal in a relationship. They give everything for affection, attention, and validation. But what they don't realize is this: love without respect is shallow and temporary. Respect is the foundation. Love is the fruit that grows from it. When respect disappears, love inevitably follows. Schopenhauer once argued that human relationships are rarely about pure romance. They are about instincts, power, and survival. Women may enjoy affection, but what they truly need to feel secure is respect for the man they are with. If she cannot look at him with admiration, if she doesn't feel he stands firm in who he is, her feelings will eventually fade, no matter how much love she once claimed. Consider how many relationships collapse not because love was absent, but because respect was lost. A man who begs, compromises endlessly, or allows himself to be mistreated communicates weakness. And while she may still say she loves him, she no longer admires him. Without that admiration, the relationship becomes hollow. Stoic philosophy aligns with this truth. Epictetus taught that a man's greatest wealth is self-respect, because it cannot be taken away by others. When you value yourself, you set boundaries that demand respect in return. When you don't, you invite mistreatment. In relationships, this means that the man who respects himself first, naturally earns the respect of his partner. Modern psychology calls this respect-based attraction. Studies show that women consistently report higher long-term satisfaction with men they admire, not simply those they love. Admiration keeps attraction alive, while dependence kills it. Respect, therefore, isn't just important, it's essential. So let me ask you, in your past relationships, did you focus more on chasing love or on building respect? Share your reflections in the comments, because the answer may reveal why some connections grew stronger and why others fell apart. One of the hardest lessons for men to learn is that boundaries are not about pushing people away. They are about protecting your value. Many men grow up believing that saying no will make them less attractive, that sacrificing endlessly will prove their love. But in reality, boundaries are the very thing that create respect, and without respect, attraction dies. A man without boundaries quickly becomes a man without dignity. He allows disrespect, tolerates lies, and accepts poor treatment, all because he fears losing the relationship. Women may take advantage of this at first, but deep down they do not admire it. Why? Because weakness is never attractive. Strength, even when it means walking away, inspires far more respect. Stoic thinkers understood this deeply. Seneca wrote that a wise man is self-sufficient and needs little from others. Boundaries flow from this mindset. A man who does not depend on a woman for validation can give love freely, but he never sells his soul for it. That independence is what makes his presence powerful, because she knows he cannot be controlled. Psychologists call this assertiveness. It is the ability to stand for your needs without aggression. Research shows that assertive individuals enjoy healthier, longer-lasting relationships, because boundaries create clarity. When a man calmly sets limits, he communicates that he respects himself, and that respect naturally earns admiration from others. Think of real-life examples. A man who lets disrespect slide in fear of conflict usually finds the disrespect multiplies. But a man who calmly draws the line, without anger, teaches others how to treat him. Women may push back in the moment, but over time, they value the man who refuses to compromise his dignity. So let me ask you, are your relationships built on clear boundaries that protect your value, or on fear of losing approval? Share your answer in the comments, because the hidden power of boundaries may be the difference between being admired or being ignored. One of the greatest mistakes men make is confusing confidence with validation. Many think that if they constantly seek a woman's approval, through compliments, gifts, or endless attention, they will win her heart. But in truth, women don't respect men who beg for validation. They admire men who already believe in themselves. Confidence is self-sufficient, while validation is dependence, and dependence kills attraction. A confident man doesn't need to be the loudest in the room or the richest in the crowd. His strength shows in the way he carries himself, how he speaks with calm authority, and how he stays grounded when tested. This kind of inner security cannot be faked, and women instinctively recognize it. A man who seeks validation, on the other hand, betrays insecurity. His constant, "Do you love me?" or "Was that good enough?" becomes exhausting, and over time respect disappears. Stoic philosophy emphasizes this exact principle. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. A man who controls his inner dialogue, who reassures himself rather than begging others for reassurance, radiates strength. Women admire this because it signals leadership and stability, qualities far more valuable than desperate affection. Psychology calls this secure attachment. Research shows that people who are secure within themselves attract healthier, longer-lasting relationships. In contrast, those who constantly seek validation often create cycles of anxiety and conflict. Women, consciously or not, can sense the difference. One man makes her feel safe, the other makes her feel burdened. Think about real-life scenarios. A man who texts 20 times in panic when she doesn't respond shows dependence. A man who calmly continues his day, knowing his worth doesn't hinge on her reply, shows confidence. The first drains her respect. The second deepens it. Women don't fall in love with neediness. They fall in love with presence and strength. So let me ask you, are your actions driven by true confidence or by a hidden need for validation? Share your reflections in the comments, because the answer may explain why some men inspire lasting respect while others only inspire pity. Many men enter relationships with good intentions but end up losing themselves along the way. They compromise on their values, neglect their goals, and reshape their identity just to keep their partner happy. At first, it might seem like sacrifice is the price of love. But in reality, when a man abandons himself, he loses both his respect and the respect of the woman he's trying to please. This pattern is more common than most men admit. A man might stop pursuing his ambitions, spend less time with friends, or give up hobbies that once defined him, all to avoid conflict. In the short term, this may create peace. In the long term, it creates resentment. Women do not admire men who erase themselves. They admire men who remain grounded in who they are. Stoic philosophy warns us against living for external approval. Epictetus taught that if you wish to be loved, love yourself first. This doesn't mean selfishness. It means valuing your principles so deeply that you don't abandon them to please others. A man who clings to his values in a relationship creates a foundation of strength. A man who lets go of his values becomes replaceable. Modern psychology frames this as self-loss in relationships. Research shows that when people suppress their own identity for a partner, satisfaction declines for both sides. Attraction fades because admiration requires individuality. A relationship is healthiest when two complete people come together, not when one dissolves into the other. Think about real-life examples. A man who once trained hard at the gym, studied his craft, and pursued his goals suddenly stops after entering a relationship. At first, she may appreciate the attention, but soon she sees him as less driven, less inspiring, and less attractive. The very qualities that drew her in are now gone. So let me ask you, are you holding on to your identity in relationships, or are you slowly disappearing into someone else's expectations? Share your reflections in the comments, because losing yourself is not love. It's the fastest way to lose respect. After breaking down illusions, respect, boundaries, and confidence, one question remains. How do men actually build the kind of strength that women truly admire? The answer lies not in tricks or manipulation, but in daily habits that forge character. True strength is not about dominating others. It is about mastering yourself. The first step is discipline. A man who controls his time, his body, and his emotions builds a foundation of inner power. Women sense this immediately. A disciplined man does not overreact, does not waste energy on trivial things, and does not let life control him. Instead, he leads himself, and by extension, he can lead others. The second step is purpose. A man without a mission is easily swayed, but a man with a vision becomes unshakable. When you dedicate your energy to building something meaningful, whether it's your career, your faith, or your personal growth, you radiate direction. Women are drawn to that certainty because it provides stability in an uncertain world. The third step is resilience. Life will test you with failure, heartbreak, and setbacks. Many men break under pressure, but those who remain calm and rise again show a rare kind of strength. Stoicism emphasizes this resilience. You cannot control what happens, but you can always control how you respond. That composure in storms is what makes a man unforgettable. Psychology refers to this as core strength, the ability to remain authentic no matter the circumstances. Studies show that individuals with strong self-concept and independence enjoy more satisfying relationships. Why? Because they are respected first as individuals, not just as partners. Think of historical example. Leaders like Marcus Aurelius, or even figures in Islamic history such as Umar ibn al-Khattab, were admired not for wealth, but for their discipline, vision, and resilience. Their strength wasn't loud, it was steady. That's the kind of strength women admire, the kind that cannot be shaken by circumstances. So let me ask you, are you building daily habits that shape you into a man of strength, or are you waiting for respect without putting in the work? Share your reflections in the comments, because strength is not given, it is built, and it is the foundation of true admiration. Most men are never told the truths we explored today. They grow up believing that sacrifice alone will earn love, that endless giving will create loyalty, and that respect is automatic. But the reality is clear. Women don't fall in love with men who lose themselves. They admire men who live with confidence, discipline, purpose, and boundaries. Respect comes first. Love follows. Stoic philosophy reminds us that strength is built from within. When you master yourself, you don't need to beg for approval. You don't need to prove your worth through money or constant validation. Instead, you radiate stability, and that stability inspires trust and attraction. This is the lesson most men never hear until it's too late. So let me ask you, which of these truths about women did you wish someone had told you earlier? Respect, confidence, boundaries, or the danger of losing yourself? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you stayed with me until the end, write seductive wisdom so I know you're one of the men ready to let go of illusions and build the kind of strength women truly admire.